Welcome to the Common Man Football Show. My name is James Coburn, and today's episode, we're talking about the Atlanta Falcons versus Dallas Cowboys Week 10 matchup based on analytics. Each week, I collect all of the current 2017 NFL team data in order to analyze and project potential NFL performance. And since it's a weekly collection, there's always going to be some fluidity each week in terms of how teams perform based on the data. However, there will always be little nuggets of truth that could become bigger nuggets of truth as the season continues. So stick around as I analyze each week's matchups based on analytics. And if you're new to the channel, all terms and definitions will be in the description. So, starting with this matchup between the Dallas Cowboys and the Atlanta Falcons. Looking at the NFL stat basic comparison data, and the basic comparison data essentially looks at how the offense is doing, how the defense is doing, and of course how the special teams is doing. And based on all that data, the Dallas Cowboys are pretty much favored in this game. But let's get into some reasons, why. First off, offensively speaking, the Cowboys are pretty much better than the Falcons in every single category. When it comes to turnover percentage, Cowboys are heavily favored there. Sack percentage, which is basically the ability to prevent sacks on offense, Cowboys are better than the Falcons in that respect. And the Cowboys are even better when it comes to offensive score percentage. Now, there is that thing in the air, which is Ezekiel Elliott. On previous video, I said that he was likely going to have that 6-game suspension. By the time I record this video and edit it and get it out there, he could play the game as well. I can't really predict that, but all I can really say is that is going to be something to consider, is that ticking time bomb of when Elliott finally serves that 6-game suspension. What the fallout could be on this offense, because this Cowboys team is a very offensive driven team, and to lose a player like Elliott, I think would be a big blow to this team in terms of its overall structure. But anyways, if Elliott plays, this stuff will pretty much hold up. That statistically speaking, the Cowboys have a little bit better offense. Now, defensively, the Cowboys are also better. The Falcons are not that great when it comes to defensive offensive score percentage. The Cowboys are better in that respect. The Cowboys are also better when it comes to creating turnovers. They're not amazing at creating turnovers, but they are better than the Falcons. And on top of that, the Cowboys are very good when it comes to sack percentage. The only thing that the Cowboys really do at an above average level on their defense is create sacks. But that hasn't exactly added up to great secondary play or great, all kinds of different defensive play. But that is definitely one thing that they do really well. So defensively speaking, the Cowboys are also better than the Falcons in that respect. Then when you get to the special teams data, so kick return yardage, punt return yardage, defensive kick return, defensive punt return, stuff like that. The Falcons are better when it comes to punt return yardage. Cowboys are better when it comes to kick return yardage. Cowboys are also better when it comes to defensive punt return yardage, while Falcons are better when it comes to defensive kick return yardage. So from a yardage standpoint, they pretty much split offensively and defensively. Both of them are kind of good at one thing and not so good at another. And then when you get to field goal percentage, the Cowboys are favored there. Extra point percentage is more so with the Falcons, and punting average is more so with the Falcons. Special teams wise, I would say it's pretty even. Having that really high field goal percentage is a good indicator for most teams. Because the way I try to explain it is that when you have the ability to consistently get 3 points on the board, that's good. That's a very good sign for your offense. So I would give the slight edge to the Cowboys because of that field goal percentage. But overall, it is pretty even in terms of most of the special teams data between the Falcons and the Cowboys. I just think that field goal percentage, even based on data, is a little bit more indicative of really great special teams play, which is kind of why I'm siding with that. But the overall data, just to kind of wrap all this stuff up, most of the overall data favors the Cowboys, and that's the basics, whether it's offensively, defensively, and special teams wise to a certain extent, the Cowboys are favored in this game, which is why the data really likes them. Now, when you get to some other sort of data points, So, for example, looking at things like completion percentage data on different downs and distances, this is the, just to get this correct, this is the Atlanta Falcons offense versus the Dallas Cowboys defense. And based on this data point, it actually favors the Falcons in this respect. The Cowboys really don't have that great of a passing D. I don't think that's controversial to say. They definitely are very good in terms of sacks, but it hasn't really helped their passing D out that much. So the Falcons definitely have the advantage here. Then, of course, when you get to the Cowboys offense versus Falcons defense, when it comes to completion percentage, the Cowboys are favored here on second and third down specifically. Then, of course, you get to rushing down. So this is the Falcons rushing offense versus the Cowboys rushing defense. As you can clearly see, Falcons are favored here first, second, and third down, especially on third down. So I think the Falcons will have plenty of, I'm not going to say it's going to be easy, because, again, the NFL is never easy, but I do think they'll have lots of success rushing the football in this game. And, of course, you get to the Cowboys offense versus the Falcons defense, and the Cowboys pretty much have it on first, second, and third down, with, of course, that Ezekiel Elliott suspension kind of hanging in the back of your mind. Again, today I can't confirm whether he's playing or not, at least the time that I recorded this video and edited it. So, unfortunately, I can't really say definitively whether he's playing or not, but I do think it will impact this because Elliott has been a very, very impactful running back, of course, and losing him, I think, would have some impact here. Then, of course, you get to passing downs. Falcons offense versus Cowboys defense. In this respect, the Falcons are better here when it comes to first and second down. Then, of course, you get to the Cowboys offense versus Falcons defense. In this respect, the Falcons defense is a little bit better in terms of first and third down. Then you get to sack rate on various downs and distances, Falcons versus Cowboys. And the biggest downs to watch are second and third down. Most of the sacks that the Falcons have given up have been on second and third down, and the Cowboys are pretty much good at getting sacks on all downs and distances. So I would say second and third down, especially third down, are going to be key downs and distances to see if the Cowboys can get some pressure and ultimately cause some disruption. Then, of course, you get to the sack rate for the Cowboys versus the Falcons, and pretty much Cowboys here. It's a little bit even on first down. Most of the sacks the Falcons have been able to generate have come on first down, but I do think that the overwhelming data, whether you're talking second down and especially third down situations, the Cowboys are just favored here. Then, of course, you get to interception ratio of the Falcons offense versus Cowboys defense. Then when you get to interception data, interception ratios of the Falcons offense versus the Cowboys defense, and in this respect, the Cowboys are pretty, Falcons, are pretty much favored here for the most part. The only down and distance to really keep track of is first down. But for the most part, the Cowboys are just not that great in terms of getting interceptions, turnovers, stuff like that. Then lastly, you get the Cowboys offense versus the Falcons defense, and the Cowboys are pretty much across the board very good. Dak Prescott and this offense in general is just very good in terms of not giving up the big play, interceptions, all those kinds of things. So ultimately, what do I feel about this matchup? Well, I think it's Dallas Cowboys' victory. I think offensively speaking, they are very good. Now, of course, if Ezekiel Elliott doesn't play, that's the big unknown. That's the thing I keep harping on. But I think that whether or not Ezekiel Elliott plays or not, I do think that they have enough stuff on offense. They have Alfred Morris, Darren McFadden. Those are placeholders that are not amazing, but they could potentially get the job done. And I think they will be able to get the job done against this Falcons defense. So that's another kind of factor you kind of think about. But I just think overall that's kind of gonna be how it goes. I think the Falcons offense will have success. I think they'll be able to run the football. I think passing situations they'll do really well in those. But I do think that the Cowboys, in terms of getting sacks, I think there will be some ability. The fact that the fact they'll get that sort of stuff and have an impact, I think that stuff will have somewhat of an impact in this game. So that's definitely kind of something to kind of think about. But overall, again, I think it's a Cowboys victory. And of course, you can find my other work at draftcoburn.wordpress.com. You can also follow me on Twitter at Geometrics. And if you like this content and you want more content like this, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Share this video as well with anybody that you know, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Peace.